This week on Alan's Antics. Now, you're going to love this. Here's a Google boss. He's the boss of Google UK. And he doesn't know how much he gets paid. Take a listen to this.
Absolutely, and I welcome the chance to come and talk to you about this. I understand the anger, and indeed...
Do you really understand the anger, Mr. Britton? What do you get paid, Mr. Britton?
If that's relevant, I'll happily disclose that to the committee. What I understand is...
No, I'm asking you what you get paid.
I'll happily disclose that if that's a relevant matter for the committee.
I'm asking you, so it's a relevant matter. Can you tell me what you get paid?
I don't have the figure, but I'll happily provide it.
You don't know what you get paid, Mr. Britton? I mean, perhaps you could give us a ballpark of what you get paid. Forget the share options, then. What's your basic salary?
It's a salary. I don't have the figure, but I'll provide the figure privately. If it's relevant to the committee to understand my salary,
I'm sorry. Okay, you don't know what you get paid.
Earlier, the committee heard Google's chief executive was paid £138 million in the last year alone. Not bad, really, for somebody who sits in an office and makes sure that we all get monitored, because did you know that every time you do a search with Google, it stores your IP address and it also stores your search terms? That's why I personally never use Google. Find another search engine. From EUobserver.com. The EU watchdog raises alarm on tobacco lobbying. The EU Ombudsman Emily O'Reilly said on Monday, the 8th of February 2016, that the Brussels executive ditched her recommendations to publish online all details, including the minutes of meetings with tobacco lobbyists or their legal representatives. The Commission says it fully complies with the FCTC. It says Petit is a legal expert and not an industry representative. It says staff regulations, code of conduct rules, access to documents and other internal guidelines are good enough to ensure the integrity of policy and lawmaking. O'Reilly launched her inquiry in June 2014 after receiving a complaint from the Brussels-based pro-transparency NGO Corporate Europe Transparency. Now, I'm a great fan of technology. I love all things tech. I'm an early adopter. But this from Technica.co.uk has really got me thinking. Internet of Things to be used as a spy tool by government, says US Intel chief. James Clapper, the US Director of National Intelligence, told lawmakers that governments across the globe are likely to employ the Internet of Things as a spy tool, which will add to global instability already being caused by infectious disease, hunger, climate change, and artificial intelligence. Just how secure is your data? And have you covered up your webcam yet? Well, it looks like the Cabbage Patch doll-faced buffoon has been at it again. Brexit could mean migrant camps in the UK. Oh no, fear porn. Britain's membership of the EU means we have the best of both worlds, said Will Straw. Thanks to an agreement with the French, our border controls are located in Calais rather than Dover. If we left the EU, there would be a very real possibility that arrangement could come to an end, making Britain's borders less secure, he said. Yes, that would mean we would secure our own borders, and anybody attempting to cross would be sent straight back. The Cabbage Patch doll-faced buffoon, even his own party doesn't believe him now. David Cameron accused of scaremongering by Tory MPs over Brexit migrant claim. Boris Johnson also questioned key parts of Cameron's proposed deal with the EU, asking why the Prime Minister did not try harder to regain control of the UK's borders. The London mayor, who's being courted by campaigners on both sides of the argument ahead of the in-out referendum on EU membership, insisted he would like to remain in a reformed bloc but would, quote, wait until you see the whites of their eyes before making his decision. Writing in the Daily Telegraph, Johnson said, quote, why didn't we try harder to recapture control of our borders rather than stick to this minor, if worthwhile, change in the law on benefits? Banned in America, soaring use in Britain. The poultry farm drugs that put human lives at risk. Antibiotics banned in the US chicken farms a decade ago over links to the spread of potentially deadly bacteria in humans have been used in significantly increased quantities in Britain's poultry industry, an investigation reveals. Although the global antibiotic resistance crisis, which some estimates say could be responsible for 10 million extra deaths a year by 2050, has mainly been fueled by the overuse of antibiotics in human healthcare. Resistant forms of certain food poisoning illnesses, including Campylobacter and some variations of the superbug MRSA, are directly linked to antibiotic use on farms. Now, just recently, in February and January 2016, we've had a large number of whales beaching themselves around the UK. Two very recently in Hunstanton, which is in North Norfolk, close to where I live. So this is a relevant story. But the Royal Navy admits causing whale deaths. 3 1,000-pound bombs detonated underwater by the Royal Navy were to blame for the mass stranding and deaths of a pod of pilot whales on the north coast of Scotland in 2011, it has emerged. So, could it be that the Royal Navy and the MOD have been at it again, exploding 1,000-pound bombs in the sea off the Norfolk coast? An open letter from Aaron Banks to Conservative MPs vote Leave. Dear Member of Parliament, you may have read about the ongoing struggle between Leave.eu and Vote Leave. As a successful businessman, I should say that I don't think I've ever come across two individuals less equipped to run a campaign or business than Elliott and Cummings. I wouldn't put them in charge of the local sweet shop. Regards, Aaron Banks, co-chairman, Leave.eu. Well, that was just a little snapshot of the week on Alan's Antics on RadioFreeUK.org. To hear the full recordings and a whole lot more, go to RadioFreeUK.org. And there'll be more next week. Take care and have a safe one.